Welcome to No One Daily Bitcoin Pod. We did recapture 110 just a short while ago. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis, as well as the Bitcoin price seeking $155,000 trigger. Also breaking news, Trump Media Group to raise $3 billion to buy Bitcoin and crypto, according to the Financial Times. And Max says he's the employee of the month. Go Trumpster. Also, that 40x Bitcoin whale James Nguyen just increased his long position to 645 million. Quoting him here, he says Bitcoin is about to explode. Send it. We'll also be discussing strategy bags 4,020 Bitcoin. Happy 420 as the price briefly breaks 110 G's, baby. We'll also be discussing DDC Enterprise buys 21 Bitcoin, kicking off a plan to scoop 5,000 Bitcoin within the next 3 years. We'll also be discussing the crypto ETPs see 3.3 billion worth of the weekly inflows, topping 10.8 billion year to date. Also, big news out of Florida, moving to scrap capital gains tax on crypto and stocks and their new bold proposal, and that would include obviously all Bitcoin gains. We'll also be discussing breaking news, 1.5 million within the next few years, according to the biggest names, predicting massive debt-driven Bitcoin rally. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. Welcome everyone to the live stream, try stream. Shout out Tammy. I have a friend from church who's going to run me to Kroger really quick. Do what you got to do. A little Isaiah Bible verse. The American flag is displayed in the sanctuary this Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day, but I know that's not the proper terminology, so I just should say I want to thank everyone for serving on this Memorial Day as we remember those who, dedicated their lives. We give thanks to their service. And in the name of Christ, the Prince of, always a pleasure, Tammy. Do what you got to do. Shout out Short Coin. Big pop-up hill in the building. Game on. Game on. And we got James LC, Short Coin, Chris, and the rest of the fam. I'm going to go ahead and pin the stream to the top of the X profile. You guys know what to do. All comments and quotes will get reposted. And big day today, obviously the pre-event kickoff party hosted by the Bitcoin Sports Network with special guests Max and Stacy is going down today. Shout out our Oracle and all the rest of the fam out in Vegas attending the event. I'll be sharing with you whatever, coverage and all that good stuff as well. The stream is officially pinned to the very top of the profile. Make sure to help repost the stream. Let's blow this mofo up. Shout out Glenn Cooper. Short Coin. I got some exclusive Kendrick Lamar for you today, Short Coin. I got you. And happy Stack Satin Monday. You already know. But yeah, there is no second best.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There is no second best.
I'm not saying I'm number one. I'm sorry, I lied. I'm number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
And shout out Max Kaiser. He must have got like 5 or 7 reposts that he did on my recent post. I love the classic Kaiser throwbacks. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Back when Kaiser, let me make my screen brighter so it's easier to see. But back like when Max was, schooling Peter Schiff, Daniela Cambone, like when the price was roughly like $3,000. These are the epic classic Kaiser moments, throwbacks. I'm always sharing them and reposting them. Of course, Max gave me a bunch of reposts this morning. I mean, these are classics. A few 2.5 years prior to the Genesis block, quoting him, talking about decentralization of power. So all hail the prophet, Max Kaiser, doing big things out there in Bitcoin country. And he also says, congrats, Trump, you're the new employee of the month. So thank you, Trumpster. You are the employee of the month. You got to dig it. You got to dig it. And 109, that's right. We tapped 110 just a short minute ago, and we corrected just a bit, but we're still in the green on the day. New all-time highs in play. You already know.
There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? The point is, if you have the superior asset, it's going up forever, Laura. Take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin. Then take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin.
Sage advice, Michael. Please go on.
And if you absolutely love the thing that you don't want to sell it, go mortgage your house.
Wow. Wise words coming through.
And buy Bitcoin with it. And if you've got a business that you love because your family...
I do love my business. It's been in the family for centuries. What should I do, Michael?
Works for the business that's in your family for 37 years. and you can't bear to sell it, mortgage it, finance it, and convert the proceeds into the hardest money on earth, which is Bitcoin.
And he definitely puts his money where his mouth is. They just smashed 4,020 Bitcoin announced earlier today. So shout out Michael Saylor. We'll be covering that and all the latest news, everything you need to know in the markets, of course. Shout out Darth Melda holding it down. Always appreciate the love. Bada boom, bada bing. Bitcoin and Christ are king. How do you like that? Thank you, Darth. Much appreciated. Happy Stack Satin Monday. Game on. Game on. And let me know what you guys are most excited about. Enjoying your Memorial Day weekend. JV, I was in Peter Sniff live last night. So funny, crypto peeps trolling him. Classic. And ironic enough, that man is going to be speaking at the Bitcoin conference. You can't make this shit up. Tell me we're not living in a simulation without telling me we're not living in a simulation, JV. Peter Schiff is a featured speaker at the Bitcoin conference. Jeez Louise. This gong strikes for all my bitty baddies and bitty broskies holding it down here at the Bitcoin Cafe. Caffeine on. Caffeine in the bloodstream. Send it. It's going up forever, Melda. That's right. And JV is the hardest working Bitcoiner in the space. I'll take it. I'll take it. Maybe I'm overworked. Just like Nippinator. You see how hard that guy's working? Look at him. He's working in his sleep. He's in the astral realms, flying, channeling Satoshi. You already know. But I appreciate y'all. Yeah, we got some Kendrick lined up. I'm going to play because this is the beauty of the Rumble. And for those that don't know, as of the other day, we started ending the YouTube stream as soon as the news is over, and we'll do the Q&A segment and the after party on Rumble. I can play whatever the fuck I want. I can play Kendrick. I can play Mac Miller. There's no copyright bullshit on X and Rumble. It's only a YouTube thing. So I loaded it up with a bunch of my favorite tracks. It'll be fun. We'll have a fun one today. So make note of that. When the news segment is done on the tube, it is a try stream, but the YouTube segment will end as soon as the news is over at the top of the hour. And then we'll continue with the uncensored version of the pod where I can talk my motherfucking shit and play Kendrick and Mac Miller. And yeah, you already know. Whoa, whoa. Buck 'em up. Buck the Fed. Buccaneer style. You already know. Shout out Sammy G, the rest of the fam. Shout out Ray Egan. I also got 8 tracks from him, and I created a little playlist. So whenever we do a pump watch, we already have a new playlist ready to rock. And I'm looking forward to that as well. And in fact, if we do it uncensored style, I can include any music I want in the playlist. If I want to do Michael Jackson Thriller, I'm doing Mike Jackson Thriller. I'll grab the white glove for the Nippinator and I'll start moonwalking with the paws. You ever seen Nippinator moonwalk? You ain't seen that one. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
For the heavyweight championship of the world.
Y'all ready to rumble? Let me know. What up, fam? Let's rock and roll. Mr. Corvette in the building. Very exciting times. As you guys know, big conference officially starts tomorrow in Vegas. Many of our fam members are there already. A big pre-kickoff event with Max and Stacy, hosted by the Bitcoin Sports Network. Shout out to them and Buck Elizabeth Warren while we're at it. Yeah, I mean. And let me also strike the gong for all the veterans as we remember them on this Memorial Day. This gong strike is for y'all. And if you don't know, now you know. It is Orange Panty Night. That's right. Shout out McGregor and crazy, yo. I got my first like from Conor McGregor. I've only been following him for like a decade. But yeah, I'll show you the proof of work here. It was pretty cool. He basically posted about running for president, and then I reposted it, and I put like strategic Bitcoin reserve for Ireland, and then he gave me a like. Here's the proof of work there. So shout out Conor McGregor. As you know, the most popular man in sports combat, combat sports, hands down. He's going to be running for president of Ireland and establishing the strategic Bitcoin reserve. So game on. And naturally has like 11 million followers just on his X account. So that's awesome. Matter of time before he starts following you, boy, and Nipinator, of course. So JV, if 2029 is expected for 1 million, this cycle has to finish fairly high to get the elusive number in 4 years. We'll talk about that, Chris. It's actually a great question and a great topic of conversation. So save it for the Q&A segment. Remind me if we don't touch upon it, but we do got a lot of news to share. So let's kick this mofo off. If you're new to the channel, very important, smash the likes, go ahead, subscribe, then ring that sexy little bell, turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every day. And just like this, today is pod episode 2003. I'm your host, JV. It's May 26, 2025. Bitcoin recaptured 110 a little while ago. Currently, we're hovering just above 109.2 at the time of the live stream, and this is the big week of the Bitcoin conference with 30,000 Bitcoiners swarming, Cyber Hornet style, Wu-Tang Killer Bee style in Las Vegas. And you already know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But let's kick it off with our market watch as we do every day. You should be able to see Coin 360 on your screen. Yesterday, everything was in the bulk of the red. Today, everything back in the green. You got to dig it. And I got the caffeine in the bloodstream naturally, and ether being at virtually everything in the green for today. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. Let's get a refresh, JV. Total crypto market cap's in at 3.4 trillion, all-time high 3.75 trillion. Bitcoin market cap 2.17 trillion and 107 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance back on a rise. 63.4%. Ether dominance stagnated at 9%. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours. Jupe leading the pack, followed by Virtual and Ray. Let me know which alts, if any, you're bullish on for the bull. Holla at your Nipinator. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index today, virtually everything in the green. We love to see this. And zooming out for the weekly, let's say pretty divided. I'd say 60-40, green over red. And zooming out on the monthly. And JB got the Blensky. And I'd say 80-20, green over red. Overall, pretty bullish for the last 30 days. And checking out the infamous Crypto Greed and Fear Index. Today we're 73 in greed. Yesterday 74. Last week is 74. And last month a 65. Do you see some divine 11-11 omens? I do. 7 plus 4 is an 11 and 6 plus 5 is an 11. Hence 11-11-11, the God frequency. And if you don't know, now you know. And checking out the infamous time chain calendar. We have 151,527 blocks until the halving of 2028, when Bitcoin could potentially be 10 million per coin. There's no telling. Bitcoin has no top because Janet Yellen just won't stop saying bananas. Just saying. And we're currently on block number 898,473. And as of today, you can exchange 907 or $1 for 917 sats. So you know what to do, broskies. Pick up the sats, put down the gats, and pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio over at bitcoincaps.net. And if you don't know, maybe now you know. I hope so. And if you don't, what are we going to do with you? You tell me. We're in the green with the caffeine in the bloodstream. Doubled up, double caffeinated, double espresso, Joey Botafuco over here. Just saying. Shout out to the one, Bananas. That's her, Miss Yellen. I was almost going to say something way worse, but I kept it respectful. That's basically her pronunciation for the exchange. Bananas. It's interesting how she does that. But we all know one thing for certain.
It's red panty night when you sanctify me, eh? Back at home with your wife.
Back at your home with your wife. It's a celebration.
It's a celebration. People are always saying about the talk, and I talk, but guess fucking what?
I back it up with the spin drift in my left, southpaw style. Shout out to the double champ, Conor McGregor. Bitcoin strategic reserve for the country of Ireland. Let's free the Irish. Let's bring it back like a young Rudy Rudemaker. What film was that? I think it was called Rudy. They all start cheering. Notre Dame, game on. I'm just saying.
Back it up. I back it up. It's red.
He backs it up clearly, like a young Sir Mix-a-Lot. Baby got back. I'm at home watching the greatest show on the tube. Love your brother and the CNA fam. Right back at you, DNA Noonan. You guys know what to do. Smash the likes, repost the stream. All comments and quotes will get reposted as we're continuing the TriStream live stream, live and in the flesh. We all love Max. Appreciate all these comments. I see my feed is blowing up right now. Precisely. That's a great illustration, Glenn, that Bitcoin's purchasing power continues to go up. Dollar, complete polar opposite effect. And no one can deny it. And that's just a fact, Jack. I just hit you with a repost. I appreciate that. All memes will get reposted as well. Thank you, Mr. Glenn Cooper. Respect, brother. Let's get it. And of course, Darth Melda, the rest of the fam. Lanet Jellin. That sounds more like it. Lanet Jellin. Hey, JV, I'm at home. Good stuff, brother. And lots to share today. What about the 10 sat commandments? Are you even following them?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It's the 10 sats commandments.
Came into this game. It made me an animal. There's rules to this ish. I wrote me a manual. Stagging a bitty. Like a young P. Diddy. Back when he was the Puffmeister. And you already know. The Puffmeister. Now look at a Puffmeister. He's all puffed out. In a prison cell. Big up to all the Irish descendants. Amen. Shout out to all the Irish people. Mad respect. And shout out Connor. Appreciate you supporting my post, brother. Shout out ladies and gents and bitty broskies and baddies all around the world. It's almost 4:20. I'm just waiting for that next minute. And then we're going to say congratulations, broskies. And then we're going to do a little TA, what's happening in the market, of course. And we'll look at some of the live charts, which is always fun. Yeah, no Diddy. Not in this mofo. Maybe in Bankman-Fried's jail cell, there's Diddy, but definitely not round yonder. Nippinator wouldn't allow it, let alone Gary Gensler. He doesn't even allow Gensler to lurk around the perimeter, let alone the diddler. You know what I mean? What up, Bitcoin La Familia? Shout out Mick Fufinator and shout out Serge. I do see, I think it was yesterday, New York finally got their first W versus the Pacers. So now the series is 2-1. Knicks trailing, but don't call it a comeback. Bitcoin's been here for years, peer to peer, leaving suckers in fear. And there's the 420 for the broskies. Game on. Now the show continues. Let's get it. Now for our TA, aka astrology for the baddies after the infamous freeze frame, of course. Bitcoin price $655,000 trigger. The wonderful thing about Bitcoin is Bitcoin is a wonderful thing. And let's just dive right into the 5 most bullish elements of the week. Bitcoin price discovery on the radar after the rebound. That's a given, right? Because we just recaptured 110 here shortly ago, and I'll pull up the live chart, show you what I'm talking about here. You're looking at the weekly chart. So the bullish momentum has resumed. Now for the new week. How high do you think the preload biddy likely to go? You tell me. Quoting one of the analysts, not a great looking weekly candle for the all-time high break. Generally, you want to see strong continuation, especially considering the $2 billion of the ETF inflows, which we'll dive deeper into later in the stream. Forecasting the interest in week, Dan Crypto Trades referenced the ongoing popularity of the U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs, which took in $2.75 billion, which is pretty significant. And like I said, we'll touch upon that in a bit. Quoting analysts here, clean breakout from consolidation, retest underway if the structure holds the next target zone 155 in sight. Momentum only needs a trigger. They could trigger me, but they'll never figure me out. Stacking the biddy. Bond yields also meet the PCE in a tough macro week, which is about to begin. Quoting another analyst here, it's like clockwork. President Trump delays 50% EU tariffs until July 19th. Then the 10-year note yield instantly rises back to 4.5%. Trading resource Kobisi letter shared. Trade deals are no longer containing the bond market, and I ain't talking about James Bond in this mofo. Next up, exchange flash bearish momentum signal. Oh no, where's the bat signal when you need it? This indicates a cooling in the market order, aggressiveness on both sides, often a precursor to the reduced short-term momentum and increased uncertainty. Quoting analysts here, current data points to the turning point of the market sentiment with buyer exhaustion growing and volatility accelerating like a Porsche with a Ferrari. Just saying. The likelihood of the short-term correction increases. Price action may test support near 105 if the bearish pressure intensifies. Meanwhile, Hyperliquid Win heads to the meme coins. And in fact, remember he had like a $1.25 billion long with 40x leverage. We covered it in the pod 2 episodes ago. Then he flipped it short once we hit 108. Now he flipped it back long and game on. That's right. The initial 125 million long position was exited at the loss thanks to the latest tariff headlines, but He is now back bullish, and I'll share with you in a second the actual tweet of his, but this is something he did share. I'll read it to you on X. He says, to all the fans and the haters, we all have good run gamblings on perpetuals. At peak, the account was up 87 million in profits from 3 to 4 mil. Now decided to leave the casino with my 25 million in profit. It's been fun, but now is the time for me to walk away a winner. Win 1-0 against the haters. Take that. Mofos. Pretty wild. And again, I'll share with you some more insights here in a second regarding that. Also, be on the lookout. Funding rates boost short squeeze bets. Quoting Crypto Quant, sentiment is calm. No over-leveraged longs are piling in this time. This is one of the healthiest Bitcoin breakouts in a long time. Looks ripe to move a lot higher, and that's precisely my sentiment. I feel next leg up in play, 120K. Send it. Could be the big week. And also, I shared that tweet. Let me share with you some other breaking news. Trump Media Group to raise $3 billion to buy Bitcoin and crypto, according to the Financial Times. Kaiser's calling Trump the employee of the month. So thank you, POTUS. Also, that 40x Bitcoin whale, James Nguyen, increased his long position, 645 million, which we were just touching upon. And he does say Bitcoin is about to explode literally right here. Operation F the Bears in full effect. And pulling up some of the live charts, as I promised. Just give me a second to pull her up. And again, welcome everyone joining us on this fantastic Memorial Day celebration for the Bitcoin price rise to a new all-time high. This special day, I dare say. 10x from the cable guy. Let me tell you something. McFoofinator, what it do? You already know, higher ends for the higher lows. But yeah, let's run through this really quick, starting with the 1 hour. You can see we have the green bullish momentum continuing to pick up. Bullish pennant formation sensation. 116.3 in play. I repeat, 116.3 in play. The question is, will it happen today? Yay, nay. No diddy, no gay. Holla at your boy. Let me know in that chat. And zooming out a little further, we'll check out a 4 hour, the Quattro. And as you can see, we hit 110 this morning, had a little bit of an itty-bitty pullback, making our way back at the time of the live stream, floating at around 109.3. Bullish pennant formation sensation, 116.3 on the 4 hour in play. That's right. And zooming out a little further, we'll take a look at the daily. And the daily says it's going up forever, Laura. That's right. The rising wedgie, the only wedgie I approve of personally. And zooming out a little further, you know, yesterday we got the weekly close. Let's take a quick look. And here's the bullish silver lining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green consecutive weekly closes. And the 8th week, which just kicked off officially today already, showing in the green. New all-time highs in play. Price discovery in play. We also have a sexy cup and handle target at 124. And if you don't know, what are you doing with your life? I mean, please stack some biddies or forever regret it and, you know, say nothing about it. I mean, you can't really complain because at the end of the day, we all pay for the biddy at the price we deserve. And whether you paid 25 cents like a Max Kaiser, or you paid 25,000, or you paid 250,000 or 2.5 million, that's on you, broskies. You know what I mean? And zooming out for the monthly. Zooming out on the monthly. Looky here. So yeah, last month was very bullish. This month is forming very bullish, already outpacing last month, and we still got like another 5 days left to go. And again, price discovery in play, new all-time highs. Send it and let's motherfucking go. And back to our commenting here. And for those that don't know how this works, we're try streaming on X, Rumble, and YouTube, but this is live and interactive, and to participate in the live chat on your screen, it's coming from the YouTube channel. So I always encourage everyone to visit us on the YouTube, or you're missing the boat. And I love the interaction. It makes things fun, so I'm not talking to myself. Always appreciated. And checking the X feed, again, all comments and quotes do get reposted in real time. That's right, Employee of the Month for the Trumpster. Shout out High Priority Network. This is what you're supposed to do. You quote the live stream so I can repost it. Get your Bitcoin news. I have like over 40,000 followers, so it's just going to help, obviously, get more eyeballs to the stream, and the more people, the merrier. Max Kaiser's a genius. Couldn't agree more. I love Max Kaiser. If I was straight, then Stacey Herbert should worry. Whoa, Sophia Raw. Holy moly. But lucky for her, I'm not. Long live Max and Stacey. That's right. Stacking sats like it's Max and Stacy. I'm stacking sats because tax is crazy. I'm stacking sats because the IMF hates me. No Diddy, no Jay-Z. Stacking the biddy like it's Nipsey and JV. Stacking the biddy, and you already know. Yeah, I mean, but here's the question. Can we get much higher?
Can we get much higher? Can we get much higher? So high. Can we get much higher? So high. Can we get much higher? So high. Yeah. I fantasized about this back in 2010, bro. Dreams of limbo, life stacking up that crypto. Hodl through the lows, yeah, the highs will follow. How you say pouring Bitcoin, me no hablo. Let my wallet grow, blockchain my bravado. From Satoshis to stacks, you know the motto. DJs need to listen to the markets. You ain't got no BTC in your portfolio, ain't got no Bitcoin, bro. Stupid, but what the hell do I know? I'm just a tech guy rapping in my silo. Watching charts like they speak to my soul. 10x gains, woke up feeling whole. Can we get much higher?
10x in play, I dare say. 1.1 million in play. And heads up, I might be back in Bitcoin country here this summer, recording content with Max Kaiser. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be a fun summer, family. 200,000, I dare say, incoming. Send it. Anyone know how much cash you can withdraw from an El Salvador ATM? That's a great question. Not sure because I've never used the ATM there, but I'm pretty sure there's people in El Salvador watching the live stream, so let us know. One thing I do know for sure, there's zero fees on the ATMs, the Bitcoin ATMs in El Salvador, so they're not charging any fees. It's free to use it. Nipinator's licking the balls. That may be the Nipinator indicator we've been waiting a very long time for. I dare say 222,000 in play. Nipinator. Thank you, broski. Keep licking them. Clean them up. Hey now. Yeah, let us know about those ATMs. I'm not sure the max limit on that. So it's a good question. Typically ATMs, you can do a few $100. I'm not sure if you're allowed thousands, but you never know. I used to actually service ATMs and install them. Back in the day, I used to like drive the armored truck, rock a 357 Magnum at like a very young age. And I actually used to install the ATMs, set them up, program them, take out the old money, the box, and fill them up. And they would only, maybe 10,000 at the most back in the day would actually go into an ATM. So that hence why the transactions are very limited to maybe 2, 3, 4, maybe if you're lucky, 500 per transaction, just on normal ATMs. So I would assume Bitcoin ATMs similar. They're not going to leave too much cash in there, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, man, Nipinator indicator full effect. Now he's licking the paw. Look at that. That's like ultimately very similar to rocking a Lucky Rabbit's foot when he licks the paw. So game on. Look at that. That's a lucky Nipinator foot, Paul. You feel me? Bro, you were gangster? What do you mean I was gangster? I am gangster. I'm the American gangster. You feel me? The bitty gangsters. I'm ultimately Scarface in his prime. A young Tony Montana, man. I'm a political refugee from Cuba, man. You feel me? I'm living the American dream, the bitty dream, of course. But can we get much higher as Nipinator licks the balls?
Price flight like a fat Ethereum pump. Stacks on fire, now the bulls and a Bitcoin jump beyond the flood. Hey, trader, tell me, how do you hedge the losses? Reset the dip, rebuild the bosses.
But anyways, we did our TA. Now let's continue with the news. Michael Saylor, as like clockwork, yesterday he posted the Saylor Tracker, which is a foreshadowing ultimately to announcing a major purchase. And lo and behold, he announced the major purchase this morning of 4,020 Bitcoin. So let's break down our next story. Strategy bags 4,020 Bitcoin. That one's dedicated to you, Facts. As price briefly breaks 110,000 here this morning. That's right. Saylor Strategy, the world's largest corporate Bitcoin investor, bagged the fresh stash of the biddy as the price briefly surged above 110. Strategy acquired 4,020 Bitcoin for $427 million between May 19th and the 23rd. The latest purchases were made at an average price of 106 per coin, with Bitcoin smashing past 110,000 for the first time May 22nd. In fact, we even touched 112, which is the current all-time high price discovery level. And here's the official tweet from Strategy. They acquired 4,020 Bitcoin for $427 million at 106 per Bitcoin and has achieved a Bitcoin yield of 16.8% year to date. 2025. As of May 25th, we hodl 580,250 Bitcoin acquired for $40 billion at 69.9 per bitty. Game on. I mean, the Giga Chat is just like, this is unprecedented Bitcoin accumulation clearly, and it's birthing a lot of competitors as far as Bitcoin treasury companies, which we've been seeing coming out of the woodwork. Strategy's new Bitcoin acquisition followed a series Class A sales strategy. Also, according to Strategy's report of the proposed sale of securities filed on May 22nd, Patton sold 2,600 MSTR shares in the period between May 16th and the 21st, worth $1.1 million. There's another divine omen right there. And additionally, Strategy's chief financial officer, Andrew Kang, sold 2,100 shares, netting $719,000, which was all filed in the report. Strategy's new purchase reflects Saylor's philosophy of acquiring Bitcoin no matter how high the price goes. That's right. He says he'll be buying the top forever because it's going up forever, Laura. And in the meantime, Strategy shares have been tumbling from their all-time highs. Oh my God, losing 12% in the past week. Still the greatest performing stock out of the entire S&P, I dare say, since adopting the Bitcoin treasury strategy. With the prices falling from around 420 to 369, I'd say that's a great buy the dip opportunity. The highest historic closing price on record for MSTR stock was 474. That was back in November. Just FYI, back when we eclipsed the hundo mark. And a recent drop of Strategy shares came after the company was hit with a class action lawsuit alleging it misrepresented Bitcoin investments, which we all know is FUD, right? Filed on May 19th, the suit seeks to recover losses. Ultimately, it's some disgruntled shareholders that are pissed off that the company is buying Bitcoin, which makes no sense. Then why are you invested in Microstrategy? It's a Bitcoin acquisition company. Yeah, I mean, but you can't fix stupid. But with that being shared, let me know your thoughts with the latest from the Giga Chat and their Bitcoin buying spree. And back to the chat. What it do, Biddy fam? I heard the Fed is pumping the treasuries. Money printer go, brr. That's right. Just like those Budweiser frogs back in the day. Brr. Bud. Burr, bud, burr, bud, burr. That's right. Nippinator the Lickinator. Pretty much Fairground, keeping it fair. Shout out to the UK. What it do? Those mofos want a class action lawsuit. Everyone's suing everybody nowadays. That's why you want to own nothing, right? The wealthy people are smart enough to realize own nothing, and then they can't take nothing from you. However, you can control things as long as you don't own them. And no one can take shit from you in a class action lawsuit. And you don't think Michael Saylor's sharp and protected his assets? He probably has 10 lawyers on it to countersue those mofos. He's going to take everything, leave them homeless. Just saying. Don't mess with the Giga Chat. It's like messing with Nippinator in his prime when he was a pup. You just don't cross the line. You're crossing the Rubicon. You just don't do it. But can we get much higher?
Reclaim the run, retrace the process. We stopped the fiat gang, we killed the Wallace cautious. Sorry for the bears, but I'm still hodling regardless. The plan was to mine until my stack's enormous. But what's worse, the crash or the boredom? Fresh air, checking my cold storage. Too many paper hands, that's why they can't afford this. Don't make me pull my keys out, Don't make me pull my keys.
And I even brought the lighter upstairs today. It's a very special day. We're going to spark the sage. I may even spark the stogie. But there's no telling. Stick around to see what happens. Stay tuned.
Watch the hash rate climb, and witness new ATMs.
New all-time highs in play each and every day with JB in the Bitcoin Cafe. What more can I say? Bitcoin Super Saiyan. Bitcoin Super Saiyan. Shout out Sergio. He's the one who creates these caps, by the way, bitcoincaps.net. Okay, here's the answer to that. Someone asked earlier how much you can withdraw. Here's the answer. Withdraw 1,000 per day using the Shivo Wallet ATM in El Salvador. Thank you, Sergio. That was the answer to the question we needed. I just reposted it, brother. And thank you very, very much. So 1,000 a day using a Bitcoin Shivo ATM. I also understand in El Salvador, there's zero fees when you're using the Shivo wallet via Lightning Network. So 0 fees. So you can actually do transactions with 0 fees as well. Exactly, short coin. Exactamundo, baby. JB brought the lighter up. I know, and the Oracle isn't here. Good Lord. Can't win them all. What kind of cigar? Local Puerto Rican cigar that was recommended when I went to the tobacco spot in San Juan. I don't really know personally. It's called Don Rey because they're like, do you want a Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cuban? I said, let me hold it down for Puerto Rico. And I got a box of Puerto Rican cigars, but these were actually for the 100K party, and I just have leftovers still. So I still got quite a few cigars in the box. Okay, 1,000 sick. Gracias, fam. Headed to El Tunco. Word up. Enjoy yourself there, Robert. And mad love. Shout out Bitcoin Country and everyone holding it down there. Bukele, Bitcoin President, President B, President C, President Nipponator. Yo, get the Bitcoin news. Thank you, guys. Keep the comments coming. Let's continue with our next story of the day, shall we? Which is regarding DDC. Latest purchase, DDC Enterprise buys 21 of the Bitty, kicking off a plan to scoop up 5,000 of the BTC within the next 3 years. That's right. Hong Kong headquartered Heat and Eat meal seller DDC Enterprises has made its first ever Bitcoin purchase as part of a plan to buy 5,000 of the Bitty over the next 3 years. The New York listed DDC Enterprise, also known as Day Day Cook, said on May 23rd it bought 21 of the Bitty in exchange for 254,000 shares in a deal valued at $2.28 million. The company added it plans on buying another 79 of the Bitty across 2 purchases in the coming days to bring its total Bitcoin stack to 100 BTC. The buys are part of the DDC's plan announced May 15th to acquire 5,000 of the Bitty over the next 3 years with a goal of buying 500 Bitcoin before the end of this year. DDC's plans of 5,000 of the Bitty stack, if it held that much today, would land just outside of the top 10 public companies with the largest Bitcoin holdings, putting it just behind Japanese investment firm Metaplanet, which holds 7,800 BTC. Now, DDC Enterprise shares closed the May 23rd trading session down 14.5%, then rose 2.5% after the bell to $3.79. DDC is currently down 27%. Thus far this year. Let's see if it bounces back with their latest acquisition of the Bitty. China's appetite for the crypto has been ticking upward of the past few months, despite the country's year-long total ban on crypto transactions. For instance, Chinese electric vehicle retailer said on May 22nd its board approved a plan to purchase 1,000 Bitcoin over the next year by issuing shares of its company and buying directly the BTC. And again, the sailor put for the win. Earlier in the month, a report indicated the high net worth individual investors across Asia are moving away from the US dollar. Yeah, I don't blame them. To gold and Chinese-based assets. Last week, Hong Kong Legislative Council passed a stablecoin bill, which establishes a clear regulatory framework for the stablecoin issuers, with institutions likely able to apply for stablecoin issuance licenses by the year's end. And if you don't know, now you know. Next up, we'll be discussing the latest with the exchange-traded products and ETF inflows, which have been back on the rise. Your Puerto Rico is my Malta, lovely little tax haven, eh? Yeah, that's right, Chris. It is considered the crypto mecca of the world here in Puerto Rico, as we have very advantageous tax laws, especially for U.S. citizens, including if you're qualified, of course. 0% capital gains tax on all investments, and also, 2 to 4% corporate tax versus federal income taxes for those who qualify and make this your primary residence. And if you don't know, now you know. What up, JB? Can't be on too long, but the Knicks win yesterday. Yeah, I saw that 20-point comeback. Let's go. Hopefully they win their next few games. That's fantastic, brother. Appreciate you stopping by. Shout out New York. Thumb it up. Yeah, got to thumb it up. 155 listeners. Only 47 thumbs up. Oh, no. That's what I'm saying. The haters are going to hate. All you got to do is hit the like. It's free. Free 99. Come on now, guys. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah. And again, welcome everyone joining us this fantastical day, Memorial Day. We just hit 1,000 people on the live stream. Let's go.
There's a seance, just whales, no plebs on. Then the chain filled with notes on. Saw the FOMO hit exchange and froze on. and the sell-off, it won't spare us. But the ledger, it still bears trust. I cashed out a little, kiss some profits, and woke up stacking Satoshi flawless.
Can we get much higher? Thank you, John, for greatly appreciate that. In fact, this gong strike is for everyone who hit the like over on YouTube and hit the sexy repost button over on X. Dedicated to you. Let's bring it much higher. Let's continue with the bitty news. Next story of the day, fam, regarding the ETPs, exchange traded products. They see 3.3 billion in weekly inflows, topping 10.8 billion already. Year to date, Mom Spaghetti, he's nervous. But anyways, crypto investment products saw a sharp increase in inflows last week, driving year to date total above 10 billion, according to data from the European crypto investment manager, CoinShares. That's right, ETPs recorded 3.3 billion of inflows during the week ending May 24th, bringing total inflows year to date to a record 10.8 billion. That's all right. CoinShares head of research, James Butterfield, not to be confused with Butterbean, said total assets under management in the crypto ETPs briefly reached the all-time high of 187 billion. Good Lord. Reflecting strong investor interest. Institutional FOMO like a mofo. I coined that one. We believe the growing concerns over the U.S. economy, driven by the Moody's downgrade and the resulting spike of the Treasury yields, have prompted investors to seek diversification through digital assets. You damn straight. All hail the king of the bitty. Bitcoin led last week's inflows to crypto ETPs with 2.9 billion, a quarter of the total inflows from 2024. As Bitcoin hit above 110 for the first time May 22nd, some investors turned to the short Bitcoin products, with inflows surging to 12.7 million, the highest since December of 2024. Meanwhile, Ether ETPs continue to see healthy inflows, totaling 326 million last week, marking a fifth straight week of gains as momentum continued following the successful Pectra upgrade that went live officially May 7th. And while the majority of the altcoin ETPs saw meager, even zero inflows, XRP ETPs were hit with massive outflows after posting an 80-week inflow streak. Interesting. XRP investment products posted 37 million of outflows, the largest on record, according to Butterfield. Now, the wave of the outflows for the XRP ETPs came amid the underperforming price, despite two key bullish developments for the asset, including a potential spot XRP ETF in the US and 2.2 billion in XRP futures. The latest CoinShares data marks another record-breaking milestone for the crypto ETPs, following a historic surge year-to-date of inflows from the previous week. Back in mid-May, crypto investment products added 785 million in new inflows, pushing the year-to-date total to 7.5 billion by May 16th, which is a very special day. That's my mom's birthday, by the way. Respect. Now, the new inflow record not only surpassed the previous peak of 7.2 billion recorded in February of 2025, but also recovered the nearly 7 billion of outflows seen during the subsequent price correction in February and March, according to Butterfield. And there you have it. Next up, we'll be discussing the new bill proposal for no capital gains tax on investments in Florida, which would be pretty lit, to say the least. And if all the states could follow, good Lord, what do you think is going to happen to Bitcoin adoption here in the United States? Send it. And then we'll be discussing the breaking news, 1.5 million prediction from some of the biggest names in the space, including yours truly. But you already know. I just went all in on the Bitcoin spot trading. Wish me luck. Best of luck, Lazy J. I'm wishing you obviously a 100x pump from here, baby. You already know how we do. Thumbed up. Thank you, John. And again, thanks everyone on the tube for showing us love. And of course on X, it looks like we're up to roughly 1,100 people on the stream. Try streaming. Fairground put, let's go, JV. Preaching the bitty news right now. Join and keeping it fair. Thank you, brother. Just did you with a repost on the motherfucking repos. You know what we doing. And 110 in play. Take it away.
Yeah, so know what I think it is, a nice fine day. 110K is really in play. Most of the chart seems like it's in slow-mo, but the retail crowd will be in big FOMO.
First up and down, the volatility is thick. You know it's just normal, not a fake card trick.
The money is there, all you have to do is bet. Put your money on down and you'll get there yet.
Anyone can be rich on crypto. Put your money up, it's a gamble anyhow. Wish it ain't the way to Bitcoin go. All you have to do is to buy and sold.
Correct, Ronan. I addressed it in the Q&A segment of episode 2000, and I'm not going to repeat myself. So if you want to hear why Feel free to tune into episode 2000 during the Q&A segment. I address it. They didn't post my XRP shit talk. XRP is retarded, says McFoofinator.
What I think it is, a nice fine day. 110K is really in play. Most of the chart seems like it's in slow-mo, but the retail crowd will be in big FOMO. Up and down the volatility is thick. You know it's just normal, not a fake card trick. The money is there.
But anyways, shout out Ray Egan on that track, 110. We'll continue with music later during the Q&A segment. I also got some Kendrick Lamar, Mac Miller, some of my favorite music I'm going to be playing later in the stream. But anyways, let's continue with the big news out of Florida. This is pretty awesome. Headline reads, Florida moves to scrap the capital gains tax on crypto and stocks in the new bold proposal. Come on, DeSantis. That's right. Florida presented a bill that proposes removing the state capital gains tax on crypto and traditional stocks. Passing that law would make California the first state to let these assets go untaxed, while the federal capital gains tax would not be changed. Florida hopes to draw both retail and institutional investors with its tax break on digital and stock investments. I think it's a very smart move personally, and I know everyone in crypto would love it, especially us Floridians, right? The purpose of the bill is to make the state competitive by allowing businesses. Now, how many of you hypothetically would move to Florida, wherever you're currently living, if they pass that bill? And I know Surge is probably one of them, so let me know. In addition to providing relief for the crypto taxation, it now includes stocks, making it interesting for all traditional investors. The effort is part of Florida's objective to be the main location for the growth of digital assets and new financial systems. With the bill's approval, the tax change on crypto could begin immediately. I repeat, immediately, which would be one of the fastest regulatory moves for the state of Florida. And by explicitly including XRP alongside Bitcoin, the bill addresses assets that have seen regulatory uncertainties. The move could lead to a wider use of XRP in the state and help the local Bitcoin market. And you can see here, Florida introduces the bill to eliminate all capital gains tax on the BTC. That's right. Now, experts are expecting capital gains tax exemptions in Florida to encourage people to invest more by not charging state taxes, trading and holding Bitcoin and XRP. So those are the two cryptos allegedly here, according to the bill, become more affordable for everyone. Florida could interest investors in buying, selling, or holding crypto, and consequently, it could encourage more people to use crypto in the state of Florida. You let me know if you think it'll likely pass. Obviously, Florida, in comparison to a lot of the other states, is very advantageous as it is, but it would totally be a no-brainer for investors and the crypto bros. And yeah, the law includes stocks that can change how traditional investments are planned. And because of the beneficial tax rules, traders and portfolio managers could decide to live in Florida or build up their stock investments. But you guys let me know so I can read those comments out loud. If the bill passes, it may start a ripple effect like dominoes. That's right. If it passes in Florida, there's a very good chance it can pass elsewhere. So DeSantis, do the right thing and let's remove capital gains taxes on Bitcoin. And yeah, I'll read your comments and then we'll dive into our 1.5 million price prediction for the BTC for the day. I just watched a video on the Swamp Fest in Florida. I probably wouldn't move there, but looked fun as hell. What's the Swamp Fest? I'm not familiar with that one. Clue me in. Clue me in. Sure, I'll go back. You're very welcome, Ronan. Is that the Redneck for the Four-Wheeler Festival with the bands of Mayhem? I wouldn't know about that life. I have no idea, brothers. That would be amazing if Florida proceeds. Couldn't agree more. East Afro King. That's right. Florida, those tax-free gains all the way to the bank. It's a celebration.
All you have to do is bet, put your money on down and you'll get there, yeah. Anyone can be rich on crypto. Put your money up, it's a gamble anyhow. Wish it ain't the way to Bitcoin gold. All you have to do is to buy and sell. Anyone can be rich on crypto. Put your money up, it's a gamble anyhow. Wish it ain't the way to Bitcoin gold. All you have to do is to buy and sell.
Pretty Little Bitty's doing its thing, up 1,700 on the day. Looking at around 109.5. We did touch 110 before I started the stream. And it looks like we're about to recapture it. New all-time highs in play, Famalam. And we're going to do our next story of the day. And immediately when the next story is done, pay attention. the YouTube stream's going to end. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, and X. It's a tri-stream. As soon as the next story is over, I'm pulling the plug on the YouTube transmission, and we'll continue with the uncensored version of the pod exclusively on Rumble and X. So if you're only watching on YouTube right now, I encourage you to open up the stream on X or Rumble, because it's going to end immediately when we're done with our feature story. Just heads up. That's how we roll moving forward. And then we'll stick around for like an extra hour, and we'll do an uncensored version of the pod. So you already know. Could not handle the summers in Florida. Word. Well, what if it was like Puerto Rico, and to take advantage of the tax laws, you only needed to make it your primary residence and stay 6 months out of the year, and you can still live 6 months elsewhere? Then would you consider it? Let me know. That's right. Get the Rumble ready, baby, as we get ready to rumble. But anyways, you guys ready, Mom Spaghetti? Good. Now for our feature story of the day. 1 to 1.5 million per Bitcoin, according to the big names, predicting massive debt-driven Bitcoin price rally. Send it. Let's go parabolic, shall we? Now, you know, personally, I've been predicting my bear scenario for this year is 222,000, base case 420, bull scenario 1.1 million. Max Kaiser is calling for 2.2. You guys let me know your thoughts on that. Now, some prominent financial commentators and investment analysts are predicting long-term Bitcoin rallies that may send the price well above 1 million per coin before the end of the decade. That's right. And potentially within the next 3 years or even this year. In fact, Arthur Hayes, just Blaze, is calling for 1 million per coin by the year 2028. Literally 3 years out by the time of the next halving. Let me know if you agree with that. Now let's discuss ARK Invest CEO, Miss Cathie Wood. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? And her name was Cathie Wood, and she was stacking the biddy. Let me know. But she says 1.5 million by 2030. In fact, she raised that target, I believe, to 2.8 as a bull scenario. But check this out. Wood said the price would require Bitcoin to grow at a compound annual rate of 58% over the next 5 years, largely fueled by the increased institutional adoption, hence what I coin institutional FOMO, like a mofo. As you can see here, 2030 biddy targets, bear case. And these are the old targets. She upped them and redid them. I know the new bear case is above 500,000, but the original 300,000, the base case original 710, and the bull case original 1.5 million. We also have Robert Kiyosaki. We all know Rich Dad Poor Dad author, who's calling for $1 million price by 2035, quoting him here. I strongly believe by 2035, one Bitcoin will be over 1 million. Gold will be 30,000 and silver 3,000 a coin, citing a record U.S. federal and credit card debt in 2025 as the main driver for the safe haven assets such as precious metals and the pretty little bitty going up forever, Laura. The rising fiscal debt may lead to the biggest stock market crash in history, which could make investors very rich if they hedge by investing in just one Bitcoin or some gold or some silver. Other analysts, including Raoul Pao, have pointed to fiat currency debasement as the key reason behind Bitcoin's appeal as a hedge. We've also had Eric Trump talk about, Bitcoin hitting $1 million, which we did also cover on the stream. Check it. December of 2024, Eric Trump, son of the president, our POTUS, predicted Bitcoin hitting 1 million, citing its potential to transform the global economy in beautiful ways. I also like to add some things in here. Samson Mao, the founder of Jan3, he's been calling for 1 million this cycle. So let that one sink in. Other analysts are calling for above 200,000 in 2025, including 10X Research CEO. Based on the latest price action, we could be hitting 122 here very soon, potentially this week. Quoting him here, we have been quite bullish over the last 5 or 6 weeks. We have been bearish coming out of the Trump inauguration in February, but we turned quite bullish. Open interest is high, I dare say. How high? So high that I can kiss the sky. How sick? So sick that you can fill in the blank. But the funding rate is low, which I think, and shout out Meth and Red, by the way. I think that indicates that, people try to short this rally, and adding that 122 remains the next significant price target to confirm the continuation of the Bitcoin rally. That's right. Bitcoin may extend its rally to a price top of over 200,000 by the end of 2025. Greg Foss, Canadian Bitcoiner, has put forth a model that can value the Bitcoin based on the basket of the G20 sovereign bonds, as he says here. Based on today's default probability across these G20 sovereign bonds, it is already above 200,000 for Bitcoin. And he added that growing concerns over sovereign credit risks and institutional inflows could be the catalyst for the big Bitcoin rally. I also like to add in there stock to flow model, power law model, all extremely bullish. Let's touch upon Plan B stock to flow model. If you're not familiar with it, it shows the Bitcoin price hovering between 500,000 a coin and 1 million coin between now and the next halving of 2028. So that gives us an average of 750,000 per coin, which can happen very realistically this cycle. The reality, folks, Bitcoin has no top because that dirty fiat monopoly money has no bottom. And if they continue to print till the wheels fall off and the pretty little money printer go, brr, who's to tell me how high Bitcoin can go, right? We've seen some craziness. I got involved in 2017. I saw Bitcoin rip from 1,500 to 20,000 in the same year, right? And I recall after Novid in March of 2020, Bitcoin crashed from 9,000 all the way down to 3,500. And then within 1 year, from March of 2020 to March of 2021, Bitcoin hit 60,000. And if it can do that, can it do it again? You tell me. History doesn't always repeat, but it often rhymes. And if it doesn't rhyme, will we have an extended cycle and just have bullish momentum continuing throughout what we would consider the bear, which would be after this year? Because typically it's the year preceding the halving, we hit the cycle peak, then 2 years of the winter. But what if it just continues with Bitcoin bulls dominating year after year? Now we have unprecedented demand. Now we got nation state adoption, proposing a Bitcoin strategic reserve in Panama. Look out for that big announcement this week over at the Bitcoin conference, as the mayor of Panama City is going to be speaking at the conference. And Max and Stacy already alluded to it, so you already know. And what about sovereign wealth funds out of Abu Dhabi already stashing and stacking the biddy? What about states like New Hampshire, which already made the law where they can start accumulating Bitcoin? What about Trump establishing, the digital asset reserve for the shitcoins, as well as the strategic Bitcoin reserve for the United States of America, right? And as long as it's a budget neutral way, they can acquire as much Bitcoin as they like. What if they just print till the wheels fall off, trade that shitcoin monopoly money for the biddy? Pretty little bitty goes up, game theory in full effect, Bitcoin starts flipping and hitting new all-time highs, going from 100,000 to 200,000 to 500,000 to 1 milli. You guys, let me know your thoughts. And we're going to flip this into the extended, uncensored version of the pod. So if you're on the tube, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here. We're going to continue the stream on X and Rumble. Deuces to the tube. And the YouTube transmission should be ending any second, and we're going to continue with the uncensored, extended